What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, y'all. What you doing?
I'm only here responding to the fucking shit in a group thread. I'm sorry. That's why I'm laughing. I'm sorry. This is what happens when people put stuff in the group chat. People don't read it. Then somebody asks, well, when is this happening? It's already like, wait, when? What happened? That's why I'm laughing, just like you weren't even paying attention.
Sometimes with those group chats, you get so many people and so much. It's like,
I
know. And the funny thing about group chats is like, I know like some of the group chats that I'm in, they'll be dead for like a week. And then all of a sudden, everybody talking. And then you're like, whoa. All it takes is for one person to say something, and then it turns into like a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But anyway. So how have you been? We weren't able to come on last week. You know, we've had both of us have had some things going on. My week have been busy. Your weeks have been busy. How are you doing?
I am feeling a bit of anguish, but laughter. So, my mother has finally noticed that I have lost weight. So then she wanted me to be her personal trainer, which I looked her in the face and I'm like, ma'am, you do realize you're talking to the veteran, 11 years, Army.
Yeah, I would never ask you. Like, and not just you, but like people like you. Like, no, we're not.
I was just like, I don't know if this is really. And she's like, well, I'm determined. So, I mean, we started Monday. I even said to her, like, I'll be surprised if we make it to this upcoming Monday.
Okay. It's funny because, welcome everybody in the chat. O Street, I want you to know, y'all, that O Street specifically asked, were we doing this? And I was like, hopefully, I saw the comment yesterday, and I was like, hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to link up, because she specifically was like, so when are y'all doing a reunion or what? So you'll be happy to know that somebody missed us. And Gina Bina, what was funny was when he made that comment about my mom finally noticed I was losing weight and now she wants me to be the trainer and she's talking about being a veteran and stuff, I immediately thought about, who I thought about, and I was like, yeah, hell no. That would be the equivalent of me asking him to train me. Hell no.
Well, I mean, I would
somebody would end up in the body bag.
Our first session was Monday, because we only doing 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I laughed my ass off the whole damn time because it's just like my mother, if you want to do Zodiac, she's an Aries, but also she's a baby boomer. So she's very much a control freak. She wants things done her way. And I had to get her to understand, it's like, ma'am, you don't run this. When we're in this realm of working out, I run it. So she was like, well, we're probably just going to work with 5 pounds for 2. I'm like, no, we're going to do 5 pounds this week. Next week, up to 10 pounds. Next week after that, we up to 15. I'm like, we're doing full sets of everything. She's like, well, we should just do no. It was to the point where it's just like, okay, we're no longer mother and son. It's I'm the trainer, you're the trainee, you finna follow suit. By the time we got to the abs, like she'll do an exercise, fall out on the floor, and then at one point we was done, she just caved into herself. She couldn't move.
Right.
And so then,
where have you been? I've been missing you, girl. That's my legal correspondent. You ain't been around. I've been needing my legal notes. I'm like Sunny Austin. I've been needing my legal notes, and you have not been around to give me my legal notes. I hope everything is okay, because I really did think about you last week, and I was like, I ain't seen DC in a minute, so I hope all is well. I guess you just got busy or had other things going on, honey. And Gina being I don't want to ask him nothing. You already know how that would end up. Me and him would be, like I said, somebody.
I mean, it's comical. And my mother, her niece, my cousin was here yesterday because we had our second session yesterday. And my mom was like, yeah, because he done lost weight, this, and I was just looking like, well, I know what to do. Like, yeah, I have my post-military weight and the cold weight. Like, I know how to get it off. I was just enjoying being fat for a minute. Like, can I do that? Like,
I was just fine with being fat for a little while. I mean, don't listen.
So he wants me to be her trainer. So I'm like, okay, now
you got a whole side hustle you didn't ask for.
I told her, like, my mom, hers is free. Everybody else got to pay for my sessions, okay?
I know that's right. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
So,
okay?
You know, here's a kicker, though. Oh, mom's finna hate me tomorrow because tomorrow is leg day. And she has to use her body weight for all the exercise. This is the only day where there's no resistance bands. It is your body weight. Oh, she finna be mad at the ball. Oh, she finna be too damn. But I told her, I'm just like, I need for you to understand. I'm not finna sit here and play with you. We're not finna be nice about it. I told her yesterday, just like, if you don't like what we're doing, you can go in the room, put in your Richard Simmons tapes, and work out the hill. Okay, so it's either you gonna do what we do here, or you gonna work out with Richard Simmons.
I'm mad at the Richard Simmons tapes.
She got tests of Richard Simmons. Yeah, she used to do that.
No, I know. No, I used to have those sweating to the old those tapes.
But she and I, we are a hoot and a holler. We are.
It's me, guys. It's me. I don't have my app because I'm on my phone.
I'm about to say, you said you were driving. You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I just pulled into my driveway.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well, the gang's all here. Hey, what's up, Tabitha? Well, let's go ahead and jump on in. So we have part 1 and part 2 of the reunion.
I would just let y'all talk about the reunion because ain't nothing happened on the reunion. Like,
it really wasn't a whole lot there, but we could talk about.
I'm just happy it was 2 parts and they didn't extend it to 3 like Roa, because they didn't have nothing either.
Now, Beverly Hills, on the other hand, we could talk about episodes 1 and 2.
Well, we definitely gonna get into.
Oh yeah, we can talk about those.
We're gonna get into Beverly Hills.
I just want to say this one thing though. When we get to episode 2 and Kyle in the kitchen, I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna let little baby have that because I'm pretty sure she probably got mad at Kyle fucking up the salmon. I'm pretty sure she was mad about
it.
Listen, okay, we're gonna get to Beverly Hills. Let's run through New Jersey.
And I mean run through.
And Tabitha, I hope you can hang out for a few minutes because something I want to talk about with Beverly Hills is something we've talked about in the past. So I hope you can hang out for a few minutes. If not, I hope you can catch the replay. But
hey, chat, miss y'all.
So the reunion, the reunion didn't really give me a whole lot. The first part 1, the biggest thing was the whole Jennifer Melissa situation, which really wasn't all that. First of all, they played it out on Instagram. I did a whole video about it. Second of all, it just wasn't that serious. You accusing Melissa of basically, on the show because of her connections to Teresa. She said that you don't, really have a storyline. You use your family for your. What's funny is a lot of what they said at the reunion is stuff we've talked about all year. We talked about the fact that Jennifer doesn't have a real storyline, that it's all her parents. She doesn't think that she owes her mom an apology. She kept going back to, well, my mom is mad about my dad. My mom is mad about my dad, but she never addressed what happened at that brunch, which it seemed like was the last straw for her mom. That wasn't the only thing, I'm sure, but that seemed like the straw that sort of broke the camel's back, that her mom was like, you embarrassed me. The other thing I found interesting was I thought Jennifer had come to a place where she accepted the fact that maybe there was some emotional abuse on the part of her father and that her mother was somewhat justified in how she felt. But then at the reunion, it was like she was right back at square one. My dad didn't do anything to her. She's just, I grew up in that house and my mom was always the aggressor. And even when people tried to bring it up to her and say, but remember this, and this, and your husband even said that. Well, okay, well, maybe there was some neglect. And the Dolores was like, well, that's the type of abuse. I don't know. I just felt like we were right back at square one with that whole conversation.
She just needs to admit that she takes her father's side in that. Because let's be clear, just like how you got your mother her own separate house, you can do the same thing for your father. Your father don't have to live up in that house with you.
Facts.
And we've already agreed that Jennifer is male-identified. She's a male-identified woman. And that's partly because of her culture. It doesn't make it right, but I mean, that just is what it is. And it's very sad that she doesn't have the ability to sympathize and empathize with her mother, because what's going to happen, okay, let me choose my words correctly. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but if this does happen with her eldest child, her eldest daughter, will she be able to sit there and be there for her daughter? Or is she going to sit here and side with the male that she's with? Because that's her whole mentality. Like, it's levels to this.
It's definitely levels. And I feel for her daughters, because I feel like, are you going to be that mother? Are you going to be that mother that identifies with your son-in-law over your daughter, over your child? Like, you're right. There are levels to that, because the fact that you can't accept and identify. Here's the thing. You don't even have to necessarily take a side, because they are still your parents. But for you to act like your mother that your mother's feelings have no validity, that's problematic for me. And that's why we got to a point where you got it, and then we're right back where we started.
But
she doesn't like her mother, and her taking her father in, taking her father's side. She knows what she's doing. She's poking. It's highly passive aggressive.
You know,
she didn't have to take her father in. She's taking his side and backing up his shit.
I'm gonna say this. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I wonder if the dad is probably got money from what we've been able to, take in, and I think maybe she's trying to be where the money resides.
Probably, because I heard about that house of hers and how that's in some debt.
Oh, listen, the reality, these people go and they buy these extravagant and these, you know what? The first thing I'm gonna tell you, when I bought my house was a foreclosure, right? Well, a short sale. My house was a short sale. So I stepped into my house with equity, right? The people who owned the house before me, they did not neglect the house. Like, the house wasn't falling apart, but they didn't modernize it, right? There was nothing, they didn't do anything modern to it. So I'm coming in and I'm like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. And one of the first things one of my friends said to me was, I forgot how they worded it, but basically, don't make your house exceed the market. Don't do so much to the house that you are exceeding the market. Now, when I bought my house during the housing bubble, the bubble burst. And that's why I was able to, kind of get the short sale, because unfortunately it was somebody else's, bad situation that I was able to capitalize off of. Now, in the interim, since I bought my home, the house values have gone up and my house is worth, a lot more than what I even bought it for. So a lot of the things I wanted to do would be within that window. But when I first bought it, it would have taken me outside of that window. And it wasn't even major things. But again, where we were. And so I'm saying all that to say, these people buy these beautiful big ass houses with all of this elaborate stuff to try to, do all that we like to do. And you have exceeded your market. So now you're upside down in a house that you really don't have to be upside down in, but because you wanted to add a bowling alley and you wanted to add, a pool with a grotto and steps and a waterfall, don't nobody else on the block have all of that. Not because it's not pretty, but because it would take you outside of what they can resell the house for in that neighborhood. And I'm not saying that that's Jennifer's case, but I'm just saying, we know going to Married to Medicine, Toya, they just built this brand new beautiful home. You got a 2-story closet and you wanted to have this 2-story closet and have this beautiful 2-story closet. Who the fuck else got a 2-story? Like, who's buying that house? And you know what I mean? You have to look at it. And so a lot of these people, what's up, Soap and Wash? Hey, boo. So a lot of these people get themselves in these situations where, yes, you're in a nice neighborhood and there might be $1 million houses in that neighborhood, but the max in that neighborhood might be $2 million. And now you've put a house that's appraised at $3 million. They can't sell that for $3 million. So maybe that's the situation that she's done, because that house is like huge.
Yeah, it has like 17 bathrooms, and I'm like, listen, who needs that many shitters? Even with 5 kids. Who is cleaning all of that?
So, oh, wait a minute, hold on. So, O Street said that Jennifer said she didn't have a mortgage. She had a construction loan. Now, Morgan D is saying that she was outed for lying about not having a mortgage. See, these people be playing games. You know, word on the curb is that Toya had to take out a loan to finish building her backyard to put in her pool. So, you got a mortgage, and now you got a personal loan on top of your mortgage for a brand new house. See, that's that bull. That's that bull hockey. That's that bull hockey. Anyway, we done went left. Let's get back. So Jennifer, so that was the big thing with Jennifer, because I'm trying to get to Beverly Hills, honey. So that was the thing with Jennifer and Melissa. They made a big deal about that whole fight, which, in my opinion, won't nothing that we hadn't said. I thought it was interesting that they did this whole segment with Jennifer and Joe, and they addressed the fact that people said that the storyline was fake. And everybody was like, oh, no, they were really having problems. Like, we never thought they were going to get divorced, but they really were having problems. What do y'all think about that?
To quote Lanithia Leaks.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. Okay.
I said what I said. Meaning, this was a BS storyline. They didn't show up to work. We saw straight through it. And again, a lot of these reality TV shows, some of the storylines be fake, and that's fine. My thing is, if you're going to give us a fake storyline, take your ass to acting classes. Make this shit believable. Now, write out the script. I need a beginning, a middle, and end. I need a climax. I need resolution. I need the whole gambit. Make me believe it. That's all I'm saying. So if it was real, okay, well, I still don't give a fuck, but I just didn't believe it. And let's be honest. Let's really be honest. With these housewife shows, they get paid good money to just sit up and argue with each other. So I don't see Melissa trying to walk away from it, so I can understand having a BS storyline, but make it believable. And also, if you want to sell your marriage, that's fine. Just leave your children out of it. That's the one thing that pissed me off, is why you put your daughter on Front Street asking her about is she having sexual relations. That's what upset me.
That was so uncomfortable. Like, you could tell that whole conversation was ridiculous. That was so uncomfortable. I agree 100%, because let's assume for a minute that it was a real storyline. Just for the sake of argument, let's assume for a minute it's a real storyline. Girl, you ain't going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. Your husband is a chauvinist. He may not like that word. He may not like being characterized as that, but that is what you are, sir. You are a chauvinist. I ain't say you was a male chauvinist pig, but you are the textbook definition of a chauvinist. And at the end of the day, Melissa, you ain't going nowhere. So Morgan D, we're going to get to that, because I do want to have a conversation about that. Oh, we lost little baby. She'll be back. She must have fallen off. She'll come back. Yeah, Aunt Didi, I agree. Your home is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And if no one meets your price, oh well, yeah. But if you need to get out that house, or you trying to sell that house, if you don't have to move, then yeah, you can wait. But if you're in a situation where you gotta get out that house and you upside down in it, you gotta do that. That's what happens to a lot of people with the housing bubble. You know, you get upside down in that house and you stuck.
I just want to announce that Joe, Frank, and Bill have a show with Frank Sinatra in New Jersey. What is it called? One of them casinos. Yeah.
When you say with Frank Sinatra, I'm gonna need you to clear that up.
The thing said Frank. I know that man. I know that Frank Sinatra has gone on to glory, and he went many years ago. And I kept reading it, and I'm like, Frank Sinatra Jr., Frank Sinatra the 4, Frank Sinatra adjacent. Like, but it's not him.
Okay. Well,
But it is like this Real Housewives of New Jersey thing in Atlantic City. Well, Real House Husband, sorry.
Well, I know which one of us is going to go see it.
I mean, if I happen to be in the New Jersey area, I ain't saying I will make no special trip. Okay, so I'm gonna just go by the questions in the chat because we all over the place at this point. But so let's talk a little bit about Marge and the book situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the question from the chat is, do we think that Teresa and Jennifer were victim shaming Marge? I will let you guys answer because again, I feel like we talked about this a little bit on that particular episode, but we can, because it's a reunion, so we can go over it again. Little baby, I'll start with you and then I'll come through to y'all. Did we lose little baby again?
Hello.
Do you think that Teresa and Jennifer were victim shaming Marge?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Jennifer comprehended the situation how she interpreted it to be in her mind. She bypassed the fact that, first off, when you talk about sleeping your way to the top, you're implying that there's a promotion involved of some sort. Marge never said she was up for a job. She never said it. She said she started a new job. Her older, perverted boss wanted to sleep with the young, pretty thing, applied pressure with his power, being the boss, and that happened. Okay. She never said I was up for promotion and I had beat out 3 other candidates.
Right. And I thought this was gonna get me over the top.
Yeah, she never said that.
All right, y'all, what you thinking? How you feeling?
I do believe that they did. I honestly do. And one thing that is very sad is the fact that, you know, it's very hard to say what we won't do in certain situations. And you trust me when I say God will make a fool out of you in a minute. Because the very thing you say that you will never do, a lot of people find themselves in a situation to where now it's put up or shut up. And if we're going to be all the way 1,000, if Teresa and Jennifer, and y'all probably going to come in my head, which is fine, whatever, I'm used to it. But they could have potentially been in the same situation as Marge if they didn't find their meal ticket. And if we really want to dive deep, for everything that Teresa dealt with, especially in the latter years of her marriage, you can equate that to what Marge had to deal with. The only difference is it was just moments that she had to deal with it rather than having to sit here and deal with this for an extended period of time, having to sit here and sell yourself to your husband in order to get certain things that you wanted, having to be degraded, having to be sitting here and called to see you next Tuesday, like all these different things. It's like, whether you want to believe it or not, y'all the same woman, just in 2 separate different lanes, but y'all the same damn woman. But they were definitely doing it. And for Teresa to sit there and say, well, that would never happen to me, I'm not the type of woman, it's like you're literally doing the same thing that what you did to Jackie is what you're now doing to Marge, where you say, well, I'm a confident woman, until Jackie knocked your ass down a few pegs when we said, well, did you get that in jail? Did you get that confidence in jail? But it's like, for you to be so about women, you are so quick to sit here and tear another one down. But I'm going to get off my soapbox because I'm going to go a place I'm really not trying to go. I'll give it to the host. Go ahead, host.
Well, they absolutely were victim shaming. And again, I always, I get irritated, especially when it comes from other women. First of all, the story that Marge was telling is a story, and again, it was explained, so I don't even know why we had to go right back around there again. But she's telling the story that a lot of women deal with and go through. A lot of women are faced with the implied threat that either you do this or you lose your job. And Marge said this was her first really big job. It was in her field. She was young and naive, and she felt like this is what she had to do. She never said that he put a gun to her head or anything. She didn't even say he raped her. But it's that mindset, the implied threat of, I got to do this to keep my job. And we've heard about the casting couch. We've heard about, we've heard these things. And so for people to act like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, this is so out of the realm of reality. And this is so, oh my goodness, I can't believe it happened. Y'all know I'm new to this show. And so I don't know a lot about Marge, but I respect the hell out of her for telling her story and putting it in the book and letting people know, listen, I did this. I'm not proud of it. It's a part of my story. But I hope that other women will understand that they don't have to do this. And for Teresa to sit there, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm going to say this and I'm going to let you come. And for Teresa to talk about I would never. Girl, you went to a whole jail cell for your husband. You went to a whole jail cell because you claim that you didn't read paperwork and you just signed what he put in front of you. So miss me with that bullshit about what you would and wouldn't do when it comes to a man and bad decisions. I'm sorry. I mean, go ahead, y'all.
No, the only thing that I forgot to add, because I wasn't ready for you to sit here and serve us with the $20 fill up from KFC. I wasn't ready for it. But one thing also is with some of the jobs that exist or some of the career fields and whatnot, is it's very word of mouth. Meaning, if you upset one person, it's a chain effect, especially like in Hollywood, where if you say no to one producer, whatever, all they got to do is pick up the phone and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And literally, you're not working in that career field anymore.
We don't even want to go down the Harvey Weinstein bubble. Like, we don't even want to go down that slide. But it's real. Yeah. It's real. And we have A-list actresses who people are now going, oh, yep, I remember when that happened. The Ashley Judd of the world, who was in every damn blockbuster film, or at least was offered the role for about 3 years straight. And then all of a sudden she just fell off. And all of a sudden we started hearing rumors about her being a drug addict and being difficult on set. And now we fast forward and realize she's telling her story like, yeah, that was Harvey. Remember when Julia Roberts all of a sudden started getting a bad reputation? She was Hollywood's it girl. She said no to Harvey Weinstein, and the list goes on and on and on. And so when people question things, now you look back on it and go, oh, that's what happened. But anyway.
And I'll even speak from, the military standpoint, where a lot of this stuff happens in the military too. Maybe not to that degree, but what can happen is, like in aviation is small, and certain, career fields within aviation, even smaller. So and it's a male dominated field as well. Damn it, all of them are, but not the point. But if something like that happens, it's real simple where it could be something so minute as people tend to call, be like, do you know this person? Do you know this person? And based off of what they're told will determine if you will get an actual good job, or they going to have you over here doing something that's not in your career field, that's going to mess up your evaluation, amongst other things. So these are real things. And it's not even just in Hollywood. This is in a lot of different professions. So I understood Marge and her whole, thing on it. And it was just very upsetting, especially to see a group of, women that are leading the show to come at her in that way, but whatever.
Yeah, so that absolutely was. We all agree. The panel agrees that was victim shaming. Okay, so since we're on the Marge thing, let's talk about the rumor. Do we believe Jennifer that Marge was the one who spread the rumor, or because Jennifer kept putting things on Marge, and Marge kept saying she ain't say all this stuff now? Is Jennifer that big of a liar, Is Marge lying? Is the truth somewhere in the middle? Y'all know these people better than me. So I'll let y'all talk first.
I'm not gonna say she spreaded the rumor, but I think she heard it. But I think because even when the first episode aired, it looked like she knew about it. She just wasn't gonna be the vessel to keep it going. So I felt she heard it before, and I think it was one of those like, you know what, this ain't gonna make its way to the show, so I'm just not gonna say nothing. That's what I think.
All right, little baby.
I don't think it started with her. Initially, I did because of her reaction, because how she jumped down Jennifer's throat at that table. It was like, why are you shooting the messenger for this? Like, Jennifer didn't start it. She just said her husband heard from your husband's mouth that he heard the rumor also. And then, it was that in town part that was added on, I think, by Teresa. Oh, he heard it in town. And we all remember he did not say that. He was just saying he's in the house with a bunch of women and he heard them talking about it. So that could have been after the blow up at Marge's house between Teresa and Jackie. Mm-hmm. He could have heard about it then. And then also Dolores co-signed and she was the tiebreaker and all of that. Dolores said, listen, if Margaret would have heard something like that, she would have called you up and gave you the heads up. She wouldn't have left you out there to dry.
Well, my opinion is this. I agree with what Marge said, that if she had said something like that to Jennifer and Jennifer had her dead to rights, that she absolutely would have repeated it on camera. I don't think she would have let it go on all season like that and I don't think she would have let it go on all season like that. I think she absolutely would have repeated it on camera, especially when the first 3 episodes, maybe even 4, was about this whole situation and who started the rumor and who knew. At no point did Jennifer say Marge. She didn't even insinuate or throw out a hint. And so I feel like she would have done some of that because it seemed like she ain't really got no love for Marge, especially later on in the season when Marge came for her. I don't know. I just don't feel like she would have held on to that to the reunion. I don't feel like she would have held on to that to the reunion. That's just me.
No, she wouldn't have. She wouldn't have. She would have stuck it to her. As much as they were going back and forth and they were eating each other up.
Exactly. That's how I feel. Are we satisfied with the Jackie Teresa rumor apology situation? Are we satisfied with this whole thing?
I'm not.
Let me be honest with you. I really believe that Teresa made the whole thing up. I don't believe Teresa don't seem like she the kind of person, as much heat as she was getting. If she had somebody to throw under the bus, I feel like she would have.
Yeah.
I just believe her. I believe she would have thrown somebody under the damn bus.
I'm not satisfied with it only because I don't think that Andy did a good job of holding her feet to the fire. But what I will say is this: as much as I cannot stand Teresa had a point with Jackie when she said, you started it. And with the whole her mention, because the thing is, the initial thing of them going at it was Teresa and Melissa going at it. And Jackie inserted herself, which again, you have every right to do so, but when you put yourself in something, you need to be ready for it. So when she said, well, if you had that control, what about your husband in jail and that whole thing? And I think we all talked about at the very beginning of this, of us talking about this, that was the catalyst.
It sure was.
Tell me again how Jackie started it, because I missed it. How did Jackie start it?
So pretty much it was something about...
Is this from last season?
Yeah, so what happened is trying to tell Melissa, you need to reel in your husband. You have the ability to make him do what he needs to do. And Jackie has said, well, if that's the point, if you were able to control your husband, would he be in jail? Would you have went to jail? That's how it started between those two. And Teresa never got over that. That's what it was. So as much as I like Teresa, she was right. Where it's just like, you started it with me, getting involved in family business, even though it was a public conversation, but you got involved in family business. Okay. It is what it is. And that's how it started.
Which is all the more reason why it sounds like it's some shit that Teresa made up.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was on some get back. I mean, for her to say, well, you started it, sound like it was on some get back. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. If they let Jackie come back, if y'all think we're not finna see part 3 of this shit next season, you a fool if I ever seen one.
And okay, I found it interesting of how much, and I understand that Andy had the conversation, but I found it interesting at how much we deferred to Gia. We deferred to Gia when they were having the conversation about Joe, Teresa's Joe, Melissa's Joe, and that whole thing. And then we deferred to Gia about the whole rumor situation. I still...
Well, first off, Gia full of shit. Let me just make that clear. One, because when it was brought to her on the show, it literally was told to her in the way that it happened. If y'all go back to her Twitter, she had even sided, in essence, with Jackie, and then all of a sudden, now you just switch sides, and now you on your mother's side. Well, so, with that being said, fuck her. I said it.
Okay, little baby.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so how do you feel about the Gia situation with her 2 cents about the rumor and her 2 cents about Melissa and them talking about her dad?
I get it. It's hard being in the middle. It's like you love your family and you have, I guess she's in a tough spot. Personally, I would stay out of it and I just would let the adults handle the shit. Personally, I wouldn't be putting my mouth on any of it. Because they all of them have their cross to bear in all of this. No party is innocent.
Right. Yeah.
And
I remember the same thing too, Morgan and y'all, that when this first came out, Gia wasn't upset by it. Gia was not upset. Even on the show, Gia told her mom she was wrong and that she needed to apologize. So, like, Gia didn't have this attitude in the beginning. She clearly got her talking points before
now, she
want to watch what happens live. She clearly got her talking points.
What I will say is I can understand the aftermath of like the whole female sorority. So the whole sorority, thing, I can't get all of that. But here's the other piece of that though. Your name would have never came up had your mama not had Evan's name in her mouth.
Facts.
It's really just that simple. So if you gonna be mad at anybody, be mad at your mama.
Right. Teresa is the puppet master. All right. Well, let's talk about Teresa and her brother and the situation. They had a whole conversation about her and her brother and his opinion on the husband. I'm not understanding why this was a problem. He's your brother. He saw how this man treated you.
We saw it.
He didn't appreciate it. I'm not understanding why anybody should have a problem with Joe. And like Joe said, he was like, listen, I done kept my mouth shut for the majority of this situation. So I have a situation where I blow up. I don't see what the issue is. And neither do I. And I understand, Gia, that's your dad. But at the end of the day, that's still his sister. And he has a right to feel how he feels. Because again, that's why I say I would stay out of it if it was me. Right. I wouldn't put my mouth on the situation. She went to a whole prison. Because thank you in the chat for correcting me. It wasn't jail. It was prison.
I just want, it's never going to happen. And I should never speak definitively, but it's never going to happen. But there should be reciprocity and equality on both sides. Because if that's the case, if he's not allowed to speak on Joe, then Teresa shouldn't speak on Melissa. Facts. Agreed. But the thing is, the scales are not balanced because Teresa can say and do whatever she wants. She can be a tsunami. She can be a hurricane or tornado. She can be all things, and it be all to the good. But as soon as Joe has anything to say, oh, it's the end of the motherfucking world.
Right. And again, like I said, because I'm gonna be honest with you, like I you know, he's no longer with us, but I already know my brother, and let me be messing with a man who did the things to me publicly that this man did to her. And I'm not saying Teresa's a saint, but at the end of the day, that is her brother.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to shut my brother up, and my brother would tell my child, my children, and anybody else that had an opinion, y'all can kiss my ass. That's my sister, and I'm gonna say what I gotta say. So I feel like
my feelings on this is just a little bit different because I have a totally different situation. Granted, my brother is no longer married. Praise God, hallelujah, all that good jazz. But I don't give a fuck. And even if my brother see this shit, if he got a problem, he can come back.
I was just thinking about you the other day. I'm sorry, my mug chip is here. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, babe.
If my brother got a problem, he can come knock on my door. He know what I say. I say well, right.
Yeah, that's but I'm telling you, but even a brother relationship is different from a brother sister relationship.
But what I'm saying is, before he married her, she and I got into it a lot because she was always running her mouth. He allowed her to have an opinion on family shit that she should never had an opinion on. Whenever we would get into it, it was never him checking her saying, hey, this is my brother. And when they got married, things even got worse. At my cousin's funeral, I'm sobbing, crying, everything else. I saw her grab my niece up under her arm and snatch her up. I went from mourning to rage. And again, I ain't never touched her because I don't put my hands on women, but I got her face and I told her, in this instance, you put your hand on my niece one more time, I will put my hands on you. You don't put your hands on her. And he and I got into it. And he's like, well, if I trust her, and I'm just like, but you not understand the fact that I love your daughter so much that I want to sit here. And again, I know the baby mama. And not just that, when he had the twins, because one of them is a twin, I fed, burped, tutored, mentored the whole damn nine from when they were born up till. So it's just like my relationship is gonna be different, but it's like, so you really choosing this woman over? Granted, I know the whole what the Bible say, but before y'all was married, you was choosing her. You married, you choosing her. And then if I'm gonna call a spade, I'm looking at him like, but you don't even honor your damn vows because you've been cheating on her the whole motherfucking time. So I mean, really, what the fuck is we doing here? So I understand it to where it's just like, so you can say all this shit, nothing wrong. You can let her do it. But when I'm trying to defend your honor and your children's honor, I'm the worst piece of fucking scum in the world. I'm just saying. So that was a little bit of me sharing, but I'm saying shit like that does cut deep. And I'm still mad about it.
No, I get it. But that's what I'm saying. Let me tell you something. My mom, I was in high school, my best friend, long story short, best friend got into a really nasty argument with her mama, knocked down, drag out fight. Mama put her out the house. My mama said she can stay here tonight, but tomorrow she got to go home and her mama going to work this out. So, of course, me and my best friend, we were up, we were talking, and she's telling me what happened, and I'm listening to her. My mama said, come here. My mother called me in her room, and she said, listen, I understand that that's your friend, but understand that that's her mama. Tomorrow, they're going to talk, and they're going to make up, and she going to remember what you said. And I learned a lesson from that. I'll listen. I will be an ear, but I will not join in because at the end of the day, family is family. I got the lesson. At the end of the day, family is family. Now, it may look different in different families, but and so I don't know. I in that moment I felt for Joe because I was like, Joe, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and defending your sister. She just too dense. Oh, I loved when Marge, when they brought up the comment about when Marge said something about Teresa having cobwebs and hair extensions, and she was like, and Jennifer was like, yeah, because you were calling her stupid. Marge said, no, Teresa plays stupid. She's not stupid.
That's why I can't totally get behind the fact that she was just signing papers that Joe put in front of her. When she does stuff like that, like defend a man who was cheating on her, defend a man who would disrespect her. Like, and we see it. She sees it. And you still defending him tooth and nail. That's when I get like, I don't believe you as innocent as you like to make it out to be.
Child, just like she still didn't want to admit that the man cheated on her. She still was hemming and hawing about that. And I'm like, girl, they got you on tape admitting it. Like, girl, let it go. The man cheated on you. I think some people think that admitting things like that is almost like showing weakness. Listen, men cheat, women cheat. Unfortunately, people are not faithful in their relationships. It's not a sign of weakness on you. It just isn't. It's not a sign of weakness on you. It just is what it is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. That's what my mama told me. My mama was like, listen, her and her mama gonna make up tomorrow. Or eventually. That's gonna be her mama. And she gonna remember that you was sitting there talking shit about her mama. That's what she gonna remember. You know. So anyway. All right, let's hit a few more hot spots and then we're gonna move on to Beverly Hills, child. Because again, the reunion really wasn't giving us a whole lot.
I thought that was.
Go ahead.
No, I thought that was it. There's more.
There really wasn't a whole lot. It really wasn't a whole lot more.
I just want to say.
Well, let's talk about the go ahead, little baby.
I just want to say I noticed. I stepped back and just paid attention to where most of the action was. And the people who were at the front near Andy didn't give us anything. Meanwhile, Marge and Jennifer gave us the whole show.
I know. I felt like, and see, this is the stuff that and I wasn't defending. Let me preface before I get into what I'm going to say for people be yelling at me. I'm not defending Andy Cohen as it relates to what he did with the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Let me be clear in what I'm saying. But what I am saying is when that went down and I said, Andy is always shady and inappropriate. He is. Some of those questions that he was asking last night, like when he asked Teresa, had she been faithful to her husband? And he asked her 3 different times the same question because it was like he was waiting for her to admit something. He said, because we're going to talk about her boyfriend now. So is this the only guy you've had sexual relationships with other than your husband in the last 20 years? She said, yes. Then he said, were you faithful to your husband the whole time y'all were married? She said, yes. Including the time he was in jail? She said yes. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, first of all, that's none of your damn business. That is an inappropriate question to ask on any level, number one. And number two, you asked it 3 times. Like you were waiting for her answer to change. Now listen, let's be clear. She might be lying. I don't know and I don't care. But she ain't going to change her answer now. She didn't already gave you the answer. And so it's like, when people start acting like he just got shady, no. He was inappropriate in the Real Housewives of Potomac with some of the things he did with Monique. I'm not going to defend that. But what I'm saying is, let's not act like he ain't always inappropriate. He don't always say shit out of that he don't need to say. Let's not pretend like that Andy. No, Andy.
Well, we saw last year at Beverly Hills reunion. He was kind of like joining in with the rest of the cast against Denise.
He absolutely did. He absolutely did come for Denise. He absolutely did come for Denise. When he asked Dolores, does David not want to marry anyone or just you? Right. I mean, right. You know, he's now, okay, so they brought up the whole David Frank thing. Listen, first of all, Dolores, why are you getting a new vagina? Can we talk about I'm starting to get worried about Dolores and feel like she's just having plastic surgery just to have plastic surgery.
Maybe.
What's going on?
You got a thigh lift and a new vagina.
Okay.
I thought she called the vagina surgery a thigh lift, or did she?
No, that's what she told her boyfriend because he didn't want her to have. Remember, he was mad about her getting the butt lift. So she told him she was getting the thigh lift, and then she lied and said, "Well, while I was down there, they said that you're going to be mad if you don't go ahead and get such and such done while you're here." When actually that was the plan all along. But again, let's be clear. I don't want nobody to feel like I'm trying to shame the woman. I ain't trying to shame her. I'm just not understanding, like, your man don't like it, yet you keep doing it. I don't know. It's almost like you're telling your your boyfriend kiss my ass. I don't know.
Well, one, women in Beverly Hills do it all the time, and two, that is just her boyfriend. So he has no man has any stake over a woman's body. But like she said, until he sit here and do this right here, she gonna do what she want to do with her body. He just gonna have to deal with it.
And don't get me wrong, she has the right to do it. Like, him not wanting her to do it. No, she absolutely has the right to do it. I don't want it to come off that I'm saying she shouldn't do it. No. She has a right to do it. I'm just trying to figure. I don't know. I guess I'm just looking at her and I'm like, just like Marge said, she had a boob lift and I couldn't tell. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. So last but not least, how do we feel about Teresa and his boyfriend? A whole lot of stuff has come out about him. They were showing the headlines on the reunion.
I feel he's a scammer. The fact that they brought up that he was just basically, first off, he was a fan from season 1, and everything that they said he was saying, it was kind of like he was saying all the right shit and she eating it up. And also the fact that they've invested in a property together. Like, y'all don't even have that solid of a relationship to now go into business. So to me, I just think that the man is using her.
Y'all, how you feel about him?
I don't care, and whatever bad fortune comes to her, she deserves it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I would not be surprised to find out that there's some nefarious things going on there. I don't know what to say. I won't be surprised to find out. Listen, if he's all that he's supposed to be, that's great. But I would not be surprised to find out that there is some nefarious stuff there and that he's not all that he's cracked up to be. And I'm just gonna leave it at that, child. I'm gonna just leave it at that, child. Hey, Quintessential. Well, we get ready to move into Beverly Hills, and you do watch Beverly Hills because you left comments on my video. So stay here. How you doing, Quintessential? 5,000% of all of his exes have come out and said he got really serious with them within a year, opened a business, and took all their money. Ooh. Yeah, and I also read that he's a sex addict or something, child. I don't know. I'm definitely, put like this, if they're still together when they start filming, I definitely feel like he's going to be a full-blown part of the cast. He definitely looks like he wants to be on camera and he's enjoying the camera.
I mean,
absolutely. I personally think he plotted on her. Again, everything they brought up last night, I'm like, it's too coincidental that this man wants to treat you how Joe didn't treat you.
But see, here's the funny thing, though. As much as I don't like Teresa, she hasn't done enough work on herself. So the thing is, she's going to continue to attract people just like Joe. And here's the thing, and this is just real talk, y'all. Everybody wears a mask to a certain degree. Everybody.
True. That's
but it's only when pressure is applied that you begin to see cracks. It just depends on how much pressure. Right. And the fact that you ain't been with him that long and you already sitting here doing business with him to that degree. So one, you ain't worked on yourself, and two, you really don't know who he is at the core of himself. And I'm gonna also say this: what she need to do is go talk to Bethany Franco ass, who was on New York. Go talk to her about her last sex and how he ain't want to be on TV, but then was on TV, then went crazy. That's all I got to say about that. So Beverly Hills.
Well, I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be. We're gonna put a pin on New Jersey.
Rumor
is that rumor is that they're going to start filming in a few weeks for the new season, that they will be filming through the summer. Rumor is that all of the same housewives are coming back, but contracts do not go out until after the reunion is not filmed, but after the reunion airs. So I know last week it came out that all of them got contracts. However, Bravo generally doesn't send out the contracts until after the reunion is aired. So I don't know, because my thing is this: if you were so disappointed with what they were doing that you cut the season short, why would you keep the exact same people?
And that's why I don't believe that's the reason why the season was short. I believe that was the whole season. I don't believe nothing was cut.
Well, the only reason why I don't believe it is because that last episode, there was a whole fight they left hanging that they didn't really truly address at the reunion. They talked about Melissa and Joe's marital issues, but they didn't talk about how the rest of the group sort of came. Like, they didn't really get into that moment at the Halloween party. So that's the only reason why I feel like they did cut the season short, because that wasn't a conclusion, and they didn't resolve it at the reunion. But so anyway, we're gonna move on into Beverly Hills. So y'all is joining Beverly Hills. You are new to Beverly Hills, to the Beverly Hills franchise, correct?
How are we defining new?
Well, I think you said you used to watch it and then you stopped watching it or something.
No, I binged watched it.
Right, but I'm saying, like, you didn't watch it as the seasons went on. You kind of binged watched it, the whole thing. Okay, no, I know you binged it. I know you're current. You up to date. You with us. Yes. And myself and Lil Baby have been around for a while. I started off at the beginning. I think I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I stopped watching because I got so irritated with that giraffe hoe. I just couldn't do her. And I came back around about 4 years ago. I came back around. So I missed some stuff in the middle, but I'm good now. I done caught up on everything, child. So I think I came back around Erica's second season, because I wasn't there for her first season, but I think I started her second season. Okay, so let's jump into it. So we have the ladies coming back from this year. We have 2 new ladies joining the cast. We have Crystal, I forget her last name, and we have Kathy Hilton. Can I say that I am here for everything that Kathy Hilton is giving me these first 2
It's
episodes?
so old cootie.
What is wrong with her?
Mr. Magoo meets
what is wrong with Kathy Hilton, y'all?
I'm like, ma'am, how blind are you? Listen, I had a professor, and she was saying, without her contacts, without her glasses, without any visual aid, she is legally blind. All she sees is blobs of color. But even then, in those blobs of color, there are varied shapes and sizes and hues.
Listen,
how the hell do you mistake Garcelle for Kyle?
Garcelle,
darker.
And then last night she gonna say, I don't know how I did that, because Kyle is so much shorter than Garcelle.
Exactly.
So none of us are going. But wait a minute. So none of us are gonna bring up the fact that they a whole different color, though. We just gonna let that go.
Yes,
we're gonna let that go.
Wait, no, we gonna let it go because the whole ethnic issue. We got Garcelle and Crystal that's leading those charts.
We about to get to that in a second. I was trying to give us some light before we get to the. Because I need y'all to know that when I'm sitting here watching, I am literally laughing out loud at Kathy Hilton.
And then she told the fan around everywhere.
When she told Kyle that fan didn't work.
I'm like, oh my God.
Kyle plugged the fan in and said, well, Kathy, you got to plug it in. And Kyle said, I honestly don't know how she gets anything done. I'm like, you know what, girl? I'm with you. I don't know how your your sister gets anything done.
She has assistants, okay? She has assistants.
When they played Two Truths and a Lie, she said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make up my own rules. I'm gonna tell y'all three.
Like, listen,
just tell
not
y'all
only
three
did she tell
truths.
three truths, but she told said truths just hours prior. So
Right.
it's like,
Like you literally just told me this, ma'am. Told me this. But it's funny. Did y'all see them show Kyle's face when she said it? Kyle's face was like, okay.
I will say this though. I enjoy Kathy because Kathy is giving us what Kim gave when Kim was balanced.
Okay.
Because you know,
well,
when Kim was somewhat balanced, she gave us fun. Now when she just wasn't balanced, you just got everything. And
yeah, you got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, child.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to so first of all, and I put this in my review, and Lil Baby, you commented and said that you saw what they was putting down, and you agree with what I was saying. Do y'all see this whole setup with Erica Jane laying down her defense before she even gets started? First of all, we got Bravo on one hand setting her ass up
because they all her assets.
Right. You got Bravo setting her ass up on one end, but then you got Erica on the other end setting up this whole mental anguish. I had to start seeing a therapist. People don't know what I'm really dealing with at home. People don't know what's going on behind the scenes and how hard everything's been for me. I said, I see what you're putting down, Erica. I see what you are putting down, Erica. Did y'all see it?
I cinched it about 3 years ago when I read that first article about that lending company suing Girardi and Keese for unpaid loans, claiming that he was taking that money to fund her career. And the only reason they're getting this divorce is so they can keep their assets separated and retain the money that was stolen. I peeped it years ago.
Oh, you better pose. Oh, that was shady. She said, I like Dorit's face from last season.
Damn. I just wanted to say one thing. Just go back in time just a little bit at the Potomac reunion when what's her name? Y'all know her name on no more.
Giselle, Karen,
Monique. When she said she's had one of the best lawyers, and then Andy said who? Girardi. Now fast forward to now. Okay, I just wanted to point that out because he tried to be shady as fuck, but now look at it.
Oh, well. So the first episode, I didn't know how I was gonna feel about Miss Crystal, okay? Because I felt like they was giving Crystal the setup that they gave Tiffany Moon down in Dallas. And we see what's going on with Tiffany Moon now. For those of you who watch Dallas or been paying attention, Tiffany Moon was the new housewife they added on the Real Housewives of Dallas last season. And they spent the first like 3 or 4 episodes of her highlighting her culture. And everything was about her culture and her growing up with a tiger mom. And she had them going to a traditional dim sum meal, and all of these things. She was trying to bring them into her culture and open it up, right? And so that first episode when she sat there talking about how important the number 8 was and having a boy being first was important, and and they had her have this whole conversation on Chinese culture. I said they setting her ass up. They doing this. I said we not getting ready to sit here. Y'all not gonna do me this whole season like y'all did me last season with Tiffany Moon. But baby, yesterday's episode, though, she gave me something I could feel. Okay, let me rewind. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Let's start with Garcelle getting the girls together. She started with Lisa. Rinna.
Like, really? Did she really think coming to a lunch, dinner, whatever, and saying, yes, I'm going to see you next Tuesday. Yes, I'm a bitch. Yes, I am a horrible person, was going to get her off the hook?
She did.
No.
She absolutely thought it was going to get her off the hook. Yeah.
Because what she thought is, if I sit here and I cop to everything, pretty much if I say everything, there's nothing you can attack me with. That's what she was
exactly what she thought.
If
She thought if I get in front of it,
yeah,
and I you know how her favorite word is own it. If I own it.
And Garcelle was like, no, ma'am. You doing this to your friend that you claimed you were closer to than me. Number one, why would you do that to her if she was your friend? You know, if you were going to call her out on something, there was a way to do it.
Yeah,
that was the way.
But see,
and so Garcelle is like, bitch, I can't trust you because if you do that to her, mind you, you claim you knew her longer than you know me. And she even contradicted herself in that conversation saying, well, first she lied saying, no, I actually know you longer than I know Denise. But she went on and said that Denise has told me things that you haven't told me about yourself. So which one is it? Y'all were that close or y'all weren't that close?
I think what's messing up Lisa is the fact that she can't distinguish between, you know, having these healthy relationships and then here's the thing, Lisa comes to work, let's be honest. And I think that's what's messing
Lisa does come to work now.
Is because in her mind is I'm here to do a job. So let me do this job. But she's not realizing that you're sacrificing friendships, business opportunities, relationships, all these other things to create a moment and to keep your ass on this show. Because we just talked about it. It's real easy. It's not easy to walk away from a check where you just sit here talk shit for however many episodes and you get paid hundreds of thousands of millions just to do that. So I think that's part of it to where, and I think Garcelle was trying to like, this is your friend. So you, in essence, you're selling your friendship for a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing that Garcelle said that I understood what she was saying was, listen, we know that Denise's story was shady. We know, but she was like, but she was your friend. Why couldn't you just like, and she even said it, she said, let the rest of the women come for her. Why couldn't you just be her friend?
And then she said she was protecting her.
Was coming. They were coming. You know what I mean? But why couldn't you just be her friend? Which tells me, Garcelle, you ain't believe that bullshit either, but you were just choosing to be her friend in that.
Yeah.
Well, Garcelle even said, like, well, if she says this is what it is, I have no choice but to believe her. So it was one of those like, well, if you're telling me this is what it is, I'm going to believe you. I think it's BS. But if you're telling me this is what it is, I have no proof that what you're telling me isn't fact. So I'm going to just sit here and rock with you. And that's how Garcelle treated it last season.
Right. So that was how that sort of went down. Now, then we had like I said, we had the little party over to Dorit's house that they was calling a barbecue, but it wasn't a barbecue. It was a garden party. Okay, it was a garden party. That was not no barbecue.
There was no grill smoking.
Right.
And they good clothes, and you don't bring your good clothes to nobody's barbecue.
Okay. No barbecue sauce. It was just a garden party, and it's okay. Y'all wanted an excuse to get dressed up because y'all been with the COVID. I get it. I'm not mad about it, but don't call it a barbecue. Just call it what it is. Okay. That's when Erica was setting up her storyline with her having to go. And I'm not making light. I don't want anybody to think I'm making light of people who had to deal with things during COVID and their mental health was affected. That is not what I'm doing. But we know that Erica is setting up her storyline. Let's be clear. And her legal defense. Let's be clear. We had like I said, Crystal and Kathy, Garcelle came through, Lisa, anyway, Sutton, that damn crazy ass Sutton.
I just want to say one thing. Kyle is a lie. If I ain't never seen one, because you're not gonna make me believe that when you was shooting Halloween, that something hit you in the nose. And that's why you got, look, she pulled a Hazel E. We not doing this. You not finna play in my face, Kyle. Okay.
Well, listen, well, women, you didn't hear Kathy call her ass out? Kathy called her out in last night's episode. Kathy called her out about the nose job.
But we're still on the first episode. I'm just saying, like,
oh yeah, well,
don't
when Kyle said that old bullshit, I knew that was a lie. I said, girl, bye. Go sit down
Yeah.
somewhere, child.
She basically tried to say it was
picking
a
up what you
medical
put
reason she needed to have an elective surgery in the middle of a panty. That's basically what she was trying to say.
Right.
It was like, no, ma'am, no, you wanted a nose job, and you tried to use it for the viewers to mull it over, but you knew a good plastic surgeon. Y'all were cool. He got you in and got you out.
That's all that was, child. That's all.
I actually have a deviated septum on what is my left nostril on the inside. It actually bridges out, and it's very sensitive. I was even told when I was in the military, like, we can get you surgery, and he was like, yeah, we're gonna have to break your whole nose and put it back. I'm like, you gonna have to do what?
Yeah,
break my whole nose? No, lie.
That's the thing about. Listen, let me be clear, y'all. When I make these comments about these women getting all this plastic surgery, I guess I look at it from the mindset of, I don't want unnecessary cuts on my body. Now, that is not to say
that's me,
that I would never do a nip tuck here or there. But these women, because let's be clear, that wasn't Kyle's first nose job, okay? These women just be straight up running to go get plastic surgery like they picking up a new outfit. Like, they be nip tucking all over. And it just, child. Anyway, moving on. So last night's episode, the ladies are going to Tahoe. Garcelle sat down with Kyle. Now, let's talk about this conversation. I'll start with you, little baby, then we'll come around to y'all, and then I'll throw my 2 cents in. How did you feel about this conversation with Garcelle and Kyle?
I actually thought the same thing Garcelle thought when that whole thing was thrown out there, because that instantly went into my mind when I saw when last year's reunion aired. I was thinking that same thing. Now, the one thing that they had been trying to avoid all season, with Garcelle being the first Black housewife and not wanting to get canceled, and you ended up walking right into it anyway, because you basically threw out there that she's cheap and she doesn't pay her bills, which is something that Black people are notoriously known for. There are a lot of ethnic groups who will do business with us. If they want to do business with us, they'll handle us differently because we have that stereotype. We don't pay. If we do pay, we don't pay in full. We don't tip. Get your money up front. Haggle us about how you're going to get money from us, even though you have people of other ethnicities who have a hanging balance. You allow them to get away with it, but with us, no, you need all of our money. So when that was immediately thrown out there, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am in full agreement with that. But here's something that I want everyone to remember as we're going through this is, because I know some people got upset that is where Garcelle went to. If you go back, I want to say it was 2, maybe 3 seasons with the Wicked Woman, and how she and Cal just didn't see eye to eye. And then all of a sudden, what is the first thing Cal went to? You're anti-Semitic. And the woman was like, there it is. There it is. I knew that's what you were going to. And then she even broke down saying, like, to call someone anti-Semitic, that can ruin somebody's career, somebody's livelihood, especially when it's not founded. And this is all because we don't get along. And you've said some things that have just thrown me off, and I just don't want to deal with you. So I don't like the fact that Cal is trying to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that, when you literally called somebody anti-Semitic a couple of seasons ago. And it's like, and also your husband is, Hispanic and Jewish. So you should already have an idea based off of what it is that he has to go through. Your children also identify as being Jewish, European American, and Hispanic Americans. So they also have their trials and tribulations. So you should have an idea of what it is. And Kyle even said, well, if we weren't going at it at the time, I wouldn't have brought it up like that. Things happen. Things happen. So if this was a money thing that happened so many months ago, how hard would it have been for the person over the money to just be like, just to call Garcelle or whoever is related to, like, close to her that does her account, to like, hey, this didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. Can we rectify this? You know, whatever. But instead of doing that, you held on to it until the reunion to sit here and, like Garcelle said, weaponize it and throw it in my face in the manner in which you did. You knew what you were doing. This wasn't a whole, oh my gosh, I didn't know. So I didn't like how she was trying to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I was doing. Yet you did the same exact things several seasons ago. So that's why I say, fuck Kyle. Okay? Oh. I almost want to do a South Park and do a Kyle Moms is a... I don't know her mama. So I ain't going to do that.
So let me say this. What I can appreciate is how, in my opinion, articulate Garcelle was in her explaining why what she did was so damaging specifically to her. I can appreciate in that moment, because when she first said, if I had been, would you have done that to one of the other women, or did you do that because I was Black? And Kyle, before Kyle got a chance to get in dig, because she was, and before she could dig deep into that, Garcelle was like, let me explain why I say that. And I appreciate that she was so clear and she was so articulate in understanding or explaining the stereotypes that we have to carry. And the perception that's going to always be there. And it doesn't even always have to be, oh, Black people don't pay their bills. It could be, she's the token on the show and she really doesn't have the same amount of money as the rest of them do. Look at her. She can't afford to be on this show because she's the Black girl token. You know what I'm saying? Like that narrative could have been spun in so many different ways. And I can appreciate that. What I can appreciate is that Garcelle did not get caught in the minutia and allow Kyle to muddy it up. And she was very clear. And she left Kyle with no other option than to say, whether she was telling the truth or lying, she left her with no other option but to say, wow, I didn't realize that's what I had done to you. Regardless of whether she was lying or not. But what she didn't do was give Kyle a side door to say, you're just being emotional, because she wasn't emotional. Well, you're just getting belligerent, because she wasn't belligerent. Well, now you're just being demeaning and calling me names, because she didn't call her any names. You understand what I'm saying? She was very calm. She was very clear. And she was very precise. And Kyle had nothing left but, I'm so sorry, Garcelle. There was nothing, because at the end of the day, Garcelle didn't pay the money. And we found out it was a mistake and it was whatever. But she didn't pay the damn money. Okay. But
and can I also raise you this right quick? I believe it was either season 11 of Atlanta with Grandmaster Zodiac and the whole water bug cockroach thing.
Mm-hmm. It was the same thing with the cockroach.
But the thing is, because tensions were high and everybody was so emotional, it was a whole lot of this, even though with Grandmaster Zodiac, it would have been that. But I think it was only Candy that was able to articulate, this is what this means. And this is why African Americans take this in such a way, because when you say cockroaches, and you know, African Americans, it leads us down this path. But when you had Nene going at, you know, Kim the way that she did, it's like, well, you're giving her the ammunition, because what happened at the very end of the reunion, she in the bathroom with her husband.
With her white woman tears, weaponizing her white woman tears.
Racism didn't exist before social media and the whole night. So I get what you're saying with Garcelle not giving her that out to where it was, we're gonna keep this nice, we're gonna keep it calm, we're gonna keep it cute.
Exactly.
So for those who possibly didn't understand what she was trying to say, that's a parallel. There you go.
Right. It's clear. It was clear. And I agree with you, O Street. And so I'm going to say this, and then we're going to come back around to it, O Street. But I agree with your point because I felt that way as well. Now, here's what my downside with Garcelle is, and I'm agreeing with what O Street is saying. What I'm going to need Garcelle to stop doing, I'm going to need her to stop weaponizing the Black experience when she wants to do it. And what I mean by that is everything is what Black people don't do. Oh, yeah, no, Black people don't do that. Oh, well, Black people don't play when it comes to that. Oh, well, Black. See, you can't have it both ways.
In those instances, it should have just been, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't play with no bands. Listen, most people ain't going to listen. Most sane people was going to move to the second floor when the man said, the bears be out here. Don't leave your door open. Sir, you ain't got to say it twice, and I'm going to sleep with my door closed, with my door locked, just in case somebody decide to keep their door open. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That ain't a Black thing.
Wait, no.
It's
not that it's not a Black thing. It's just you have to
no.
Like I'm just saying, like for me, I'm a city boy. So when I was in the military and they like, we sleeping out in the woods, we doing what? You gotta dig a foxhole and lay in it until the morning. I gotta do what? That I don't do that where I'm from. Now,
right.
Of course, now so and so who probably from the backwoods over there, he probably good with it. We both the same dang on skin tone. I'm just from the city of Chicago, so
right.
It's what she needs to separate the whole. This is the African American experience from this is what I don't do as an African American woman.
Right, so, because let's be clear, Garcelle, because like even last year, some of the things she said last year, some of what she said last year comes from your experience of coming from a Haitian family, not because you're a Black American or African American, but because you come from a Haitian family, and that's even a different experience, which I know that gets lost on people outside of the race because we all just Black, but that's not even coming from a Caribbean family ain't even the same as growing up in Detroit or growing up in DC. You know what I mean?
It's totally not.
It's just not. And so you're right. I would rather. And so I feel like you can't have it both ways, Garcelle. You can't come at them, but then whenever you want to explain something or whatever, it's always what Black women don't do. Now, but that is why I appreciated Crystal at the end. And we're going to get to the end, but that is why I appreciated what Crystal did at the end of the episode, because she lent a different lens from a different perspective. And that's why I was mad at Sutton. But we're going to get to that. Let's go on and get through the rest of this. So they get to Lake Tahoe.
I just want to say Crystal ain't come to play with them.
She did not. Crystal
I know a lot of people said they didn't care for Crystal. On episode 1, the jury was just still out for me. I hadn't formed an opinion of her.
The jury was out for me in the first episode. Mm-hmm.
But this episode, from what I'm gathering, and I like Sutton, but I just feel like she's gonna be like an asshole I love.
I'll be right back.
I was here for it. So they get to Lake Tahoe, and because of COVID, honey, they don't have a butler. And I found it interesting that Garcelle was one of the first women to complain about not having a butler to carry her luggage. Okay. But we had
so much of Ramona from Real Housewives of New York. Like, she'll walk into a room, into a place, and she'll leave her luggage by the door. She won't touch it. She wants the staff to move her luggage.
Right.
And then unpack it for her.
Right. And they went through that on the Real Housewives of Dallas. So that was definitely a COVID thing. On their trips, they didn't have anybody doing their luggage either. And they actually had to carry their luggage like down a hill. Like, they had a whole situation on Dallas.
And Dorit bought how many suitcases? 20?
You know Dorit bought 20 suitcases with her diva ass. And then you hear her talking about I agreed to do my own glam for this trip, but I didn't know I was going to have to carry my own suitcases. Hey, listen, y'all saw them. Dorit had about 4 suitcases, big suitcases.
And she looked good and everything. Oh my God.
Dorit irritates myself. Listen, Dorit had to grow on me. Dorit definitely had to grow on me because And I'm gonna tell you why Doree had to grow on me. Because like even when they were talking about Lake Tahoe, and she was like, well, I've never been to Tahoe, but it was giving me a Swedish blah 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 vibe. It's like, girl, you ain't gotta let everybody know you've been to Sweden. Girl, sit down and go sit on the damn lake. Doree just be giving, but she had to grow on me. She really did have to grow on me. I love Doree now. That don't mean she don't get on my nerves at the time, but I have definitely grown to appreciate Doree's crazy ass. So Kyle is cooking dinner.
Kyle is burning dinner.
Look.
Well, wait a minute. Before we get to the burning part.
All I'm gonna say, because I said I was gonna let Lil Baby have it. All I'm gonna say is Kyle better not never get her ass to the kitchen ever again. You better cook for your family, not nobody else. Okay, go ahead.
Like she was so happy and so eager to entertain the women, ended up burning the damn fish, and then she gonna ask who didn't eat it. Girl, who could?
Listen, and they tried. Remember, Erica was like, "Oh, I love smoked salmon." Erica was like, "That won't smoke nothing. That was just burnt fish." Listen, I feel like they all tried to for the sake of trying to support Kyle, but girl, wasn't nobody eating that. Nobody was gonna eat that, Kyle.
They tried. They really did give it the good old college try.
They did,
but they could not scrape off that burnt part. It was there. It was all through the meat.
The funny thing is, she was saying like, "Oh, I'm giving the chef the night off." Yeah, you kept having the chef do this, move this. So you had a sous chef. I'm just like, Kyle.
Right, because that's why I said they had a whole chef. Why did you feel the need to cook, Kyle? Girl, if you don't go sit down somewhere, anyway, that backfired. Whatever she was trying to do with that meal, it backfired because she burnt the hell out of that salmon. And the thing about burnt salmon, it gets dry, and there is just nothing you can do with that. There's just nothing. So they ate pasta and salad. That is what they ate, and them chips that they had sitting up on that counter. Now,
wait, and they also had a cheese spread and the meats and the crackers. They also had.
They made a meal off of all of that.
Can I just say this?
They were eating.
What was it? Was that caftan silk on Erica? That white one?
Yeah, that caftan.
Against that blonde hair. I was like, oh, baby. And then Dorit came downstairs in that Louis Vuitton suit with the white pumps and a scarf. I was like, listen.
So
this is why we show up.
Now,
this is why we show up for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay.
I'm gonna ask this from Lil Baby because I'm pretty sure when I say this, and I'm pretty sure you really gonna be on the same page as me. But I'm gonna need for these women, if they trying to cook, to take the ass over to Jersey, sit down with the women.
Yes. Listen.
Bread.
The men them Jersey women, listen, and this is what I love about the Jersey women. They could be cussing each other out, but they be burning up that kitchen though. They'll be fighting, but listen. The meal don't nothing come up wrong with the meal. Don't nothing come up wrong with the meal. Mm-mm.
You remember when Dolores told Frank, "Don't burn my sauce."
Right.
Don't burn it.
Now we got to go handle some business, but don't fuck up my sauce, or it's gonna be repercussions. Okay.
I wanted to say that. So Kyle, if you listening, take your ass over to Jersey, sit down with all the Jersey housewives,
and take some notes. Take some notes, honey.
And not just because you got the Italian ones. You have Jennifer, I believe she Persian. Is she Persian?
Turkish.
You can and talk to her and her mama because her mama throw down in the kitchen too.
Oh, her mama throws down.
Now, don't talk to Jackie, but talk to Jackie mama. Don't talk to Jackie. Talk to the Jackie mama.
Yeah, Jackie don't eat no more. Her parents scarred her about food.
And learn how to do some cooking. Okay, let's get back to the show. I'm sorry, I just had to say.
No, you fine because listen, that was just a travesty. Moving on. So after dinner, they played Two Truths and a Lie. Listen, I was here for Crystal. I forgot it last night, but Lil Baby reminded me. The madam, she worked for escort service.
I wrote them down.
So, okay, well, go ahead.
So Crystal's was she was arrested, worked at an escort company, and was propositioned to be a madam.
Right. I was here for all of that.
I knew she wasn't arrested because it's just something about her that says I don't play with legalities of things. And also her personality read to me, she would be a damn good madam. So I knew that the process, that her being propositioned to be a madam and working at a whorehouse, I knew that was her.
Can I tell you who got on my nerves in that game? First was Lisa Rinna talking about some she don't know how to lie. And here go Garcelle, you're an actress. That is literally your job. You are an actress, ma'am. That is what they pay you to do. And then damn Erica Girardi talking about some damn I can't confirm or deny. But then why you bring this shit up?
Oh, listen, Erica, with your current, with your present and your future in front of you, in front of us, I can possibly pick out the lie.
But here's the thing though, with everything that's going on, why would you even give us those two? Because you said you a snitch. I don't want to fuck with you if you a snitch. And then the other one is you work for the mafia. You go come up dead if you sit here revealing that you was with. So it's just like, so you was a snitch. It's pretty much what you telling me is you was an informant.
Right, which means that your husband need to be worried. How about that?
Ooh.
He need to be worried. I'm just saying. So, all right. So they played two truths and a lie. So then they were going to bed because they got to get up in the morning, and everybody had to go sneak to their room and Grubhub them some food at the Kyle and fucked up dinner. I really feel like that's what they really went and did, is that they went and grubbed some food. So I do too, O Street. I do. I appreciate the fact that Dr. Moon and Crystal are very distinct. They do have very distinct personalities. So Garcelle went to go find Lisa Rinna because Sutton. Oh, let's talk about the fact that Sutton got them flasks and why Cat.
Old coat.
What am I gonna do with Kathy Hilton, y'all? Kathy said, "What do I put in this?" Erica said, "Whatever you want." She said, "Well, I guess I could put some mouthwash." She said she gonna put some mouthwash.
Look, let me say this though. I like that they. Normally, I'm not here for them having such wide age gaps, but I just like the fact that Kathy is unhinged and she just, I'm just here for her. I really am. She is.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, gosh. I wasn't ready.
I'm telling you, O Street, I'm giving, giving, somebody needs a test.
Hold on, wait. You also forgot when Cal was talking about her surgery, right? And then she called Sutton Garcelle. I was like,
I'm like, what are we doing?
I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Old coat.
Oh my gosh. I was not.
That was Kyle, though. Kyle did that. I'm just like, you've been hanging around your sister too damn long.
I was not ready. Okay, so.
Okay, all right. Back to Lisa and Garcelle. I just had to bring it up. I'm like, we can't gloss over that. We can't.
Okay, so. Garcelle made a beeline for Lisa Rinna because Sutton was like, I think Lisa think that y'all cool. And Sutton was like, well, shame on her. Shame on her for thinking we cool because we not cool.
But you know, Lisa is one of those people because there are people out there like that where we had a conversation, we just gonna dead everything and just pretend like everything else happened. And yeah, I can't stand people like that because even with the conversation they had, which we about to get to, it's the whole let's just move past it, or you don't want me to, or the whole, well, let's not go all the way back. Well, we got to go all the way back so we can clear up everything so we don't sit here and repeat stuff. But you got people that don't want to sit in the wrong that they did or be told that you did wrong. Mm-hmm. And Lisa is a dangerous person, but we're going to get to it. Go ahead.
So Garcelle went to go find Lisa and have the conversation with her. And Lisa, excuse me, and Lisa, once again, Garcelle was like, well, we didn't clear everything up because you pretty much bamboozled and took over the whole conversation. Mm-hmm. And I never got a chance to really tell you how I felt and express how I felt. And you sort of look on Lisa's face like, damn it, like I thought I got over this. And I do find it very interesting that at the end of the day, Lisa told Garcelle, I can't promise you that I won't do to you what I did to Denise. She told her, well, I can't promise you that it won't happen.
And that's why Garcelle is like, ma'am, I can't trust you. We are not friends.
Right.
But do y'all think part of it is her saying that because they're on the show? Do y'all think it's because of the show? Or do you think she just that fucked up of a person?
My bet is on person.
Okay. I'm just asking. Now, it was funny that Garcelle also kind of went back to the whole ethnic thing of saying how she had been fostered to always just be nice, which I thought was interesting because I'm like, I can see that because I've had my share of dealing with that where it's like in the moment of confrontation and whatnot and not being able to effectively be able to sit here and convey my feelings and curse you out without using a cuss word. I hadn't mastered it. So for me, it was just, let me just smile through it. Let me swallow it. Let me eat it. Because the last thing that I need is I'm 6'1", 200 pounds plus, depending on what part of military career you found me in. Right. And I'm American. So just all of those boxes checked, I already come off as being menacing. I have some bass in my voice. And don't let me get mad. So now it's just a whole, oh my gosh, angry.
Right.
So I understood where she was trying to go with that. And I can appreciate the fact that she has been able to find her voice to where I'm not going to sit here and get, irate, ignorant, and indignant. But I'm going to let you know in a very calm voice what it is. So I appreciated that little bit right there. And if you really catch it, it was funny how, because, we started with the whole Sutton, Kyle, and Crystal, moved over to them. And once Garcelle said that piece, it's, again, editing how now the conversation went from this ethnic piece to them and then Crystal getting in Sutton ass.
Okay, so let's get to my favorite part of the episode. So Kyle, Crystal, and Sutton are downstairs talking, and Sutton and Kyle end up having a conversation about Garcelle because, Sutton is Garcelle's friend this year, and we'll see how long that lasts. But anyway, and they talked about the situation with the money and her calling her out. First of all, did you see Crystal's face when Kyle explained what she had done to Garcelle? Did you see Crystal was like... And she was like, well, do you feel bad about that? And Kyle was like, I didn't until she explained it to me. But no, I didn't feel no kind of way about it. And Crystal was like, okay, but you see now how that's a problem. And what I can appreciate is that Crystal was getting ready to give us a different perspective and what she's had to deal with the stereotypes that she's had to deal with. And I did not appreciate what Sutton did.
I didn't either.
I didn't appreciate Sutton cutting her off. Number one, I didn't appreciate her cutting her off. Mm-hmm. Number two, I didn't appreciate her making it seem like we're not going to make this about race, but it already is about race, which is the whole point of the conversation that Garcelle was trying to make to Kyle. Mm-hmm. That she's supposed to be your friend, which means that you're supposed to already sort of have that perspective. And when Crystal turned to the side and said, don't tell me you're one of those people that say you don't see color. Bitch,
baby.
I was done. And listen, I like Sutton, so that kind of made me feel some kind of way because I was like, damn, Sutton, you was one of the people I was rooting for.
Yeah. But
yeah, Sutton grew on me because I wasn't feeling her at first. I thought
she grew on me. No, she had to grow on me too. You know, last season I wasn't feeling her in the beginning.
But
I wasn't feeling her.
You know, she came in on the scene wanting to know place cards and stuff, and we like, girl, we had an informal dinner. Like, just, Erica, like, girl, just grab a seat, sit down.
Exactly. She was invalidating Crystal's experience. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want this to be about, race or should we say ethnicity, but she literally took it there when she internalized because all she had to do was just let Crystal talk.
That's it. That's it.
Like, well, white trash and we're not there. And it's just like, baby girl, ain't nobody even talked about you being European American, and if we really gonna call a thing, and I'll be the one to say it, if you can't tell me what part of Europe your ethnicity is from, and you just gather yourself in this whole ideology of what white is, baby girl, you are also part of the problem. But again, ain't nobody said nothing about that. But look, Crystal gathered her so quickly and swiftly. I was just like, oh, well, damn. I was, and when I tell you a hush came over Sutton's spirit for a minute, I was like, oh, she.
And then Crystal repeated it as if just in case you didn't hear me the first time. Let me say this one more time for the people in the back. One more time for the people in the back, in case you did not hear me the first time. You're not one of those people that says you don't see color, are you? Bitch. Now let me say this, and I had this conversation about a couple of months ago now on my channel, and people was kind of coming for me a little bit when we was talking about the whole Sharon Osbourne situation, and I said I do feel like we should be willing. I don't know if teach is the right word, so teach might not be the right word, but I do feel like we should be willing as Black people to have the conversation with white people. And, people kind of came at me and was like, we don't need to teach them nothing because they created racism. We don't have to teach them about racism. And I get that side of it. But what I'm saying is, this is why we need to have the conversations. We've got, and this is my opinion, and that's what I appreciated about what Crystal was trying to do last night and what Sutton stopped her from doing. Because Sutton was like, well, how do you think I feel with all the redneck jokes? And Crystal was like, I would love to know how you feel. Please tell me. And I don't think she was being
extended the courtesy for Sutton to have her say in the conversation.
Exactly. Because here's the reality. I don't know how you feel as a white Southern woman who gets all the dumb redneck jokes. Tell me about it. Because you know why I don't know how you feel? Because I don't think about it from your perspective because it's not my experience. And that is what all I'm saying with a lot of white people, not every white person. There are people who are just racist and ignorant because they want to be racist and ignorant. But there are, in my opinion, the vast majority of white people just don't think outside of their experience. And so we've got to have the conversation. We've got to start leaning into uncomfortable conversations because that is the only way that we're going to get past this is if we start talking to each other and stop assuming. We have to stop assuming that just because they're white, they understand racism or they understand how their microaggressions, because they don't always know and understand. Kyle did, and I don't believe that Kyle was 100% understanding the connection to what she did to Garcelle and all that Garcelle brought to her. Do I think she know that what she did was some grimy shit? Yeah. Go ahead. What you were gonna say?
What I was gonna say is one thing that I think we as African Americans, and I am gonna group everybody together. And if you don't like it, whatever. We have a difficult, in general, and it's just generally, we don't have certain conversations that we need to have in general amongst ourselves. Because within some of our families, I'll give you an example. Like you have let's say a little 3-year-old girl go try to sit on Uncle Johnny's lap, and everybody know Uncle Johnny touch on the kids. Rather than it be addressed and the conversation had, what do the adults say? No, don't go sit on Uncle Johnny's lap. Now get over here. It's a whole lot of we're just not going to address something that is right there that we probably need to address. So for a lot of us, it's hard for some people to have that conversation with people who are not African American because we can't hardly have the difficult conversations in our own household. But in general, we should challenge ourselves to have all of these conversations because, you know, when we don't, it further leads to more turmoil, you know, and other stuff. Like, and I'll give you an example, like basic training. One cat, his name, I ain't gonna say his name, but cool guy, you know, European American, whatever. He said to me, this is the first time I've been around black people. And the boy was country as hell. And it was one of those where it's just like, and he even said, the only thing I know about black people is what I see on TV. So, and I couldn't be mad. I'm just like, I appreciate you being honest. Because you have most people that wouldn't even say that. I'm just like, okay, well.
Exactly. And then the part 2 of that statement is think about what they see about us on TV. Yeah. That's the part 2 of that. That's the part 2. Diamond Pearl, you know, you my boo, but I disagree. Let me tell you why. Let me give y'all a perfect example. And I don't know if I've told y'all this story before, but if I have, bear with me, indulge me. I'm a teacher. I'm a social studies teacher. All right. The department chair of my the social studies department at my school is a white guy. You cannot tell him that he is not the most liberal, woke, I understand all people, I'm not racist in any way, dude, that you've ever met. You can't tell him that. You can't tell him that he ain't woke, right? Last year, we were trying to decide if we were going to change electives or add a different elective. I made the suggestion. I said, let's add Latino studies because as a district, the district offers 50,000 electives underneath social studies, but not every school carries every elective. We decide which electives we want to teach and not teach based on the demand, based on whatever. I said, we are increasingly having more and more Latino students. So let's add Latino studies as an elective. Something we can all live by. I mean, we can all learn from. He was like, that's a great idea. We voted on it as a department. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, nay. So he had a meeting with my principal that next week, and they were supposed to talk about what we had discussed about electives and some other odds and ends that they had to take care of. So we have our next department meeting, and he says, and we asked him about Latino studies. Are we going to do it? What did the principal say? And he said, oh no, that's nixed. We nixed it, right? He gave the impression that the principal nixed it. He didn't say what happened. He just said, oh no, that's nixed. So I was like, well, why? Why wouldn't he want to teach it? What was the reason that was given? Well, and he says, well, I didn't even take it to him. I said, why wouldn't you take it to him? There's a conversation. We voted on it as a department. We agreed. Why wouldn't you take it to him? And here's what his reason was. Because I don't think we have anybody that's qualified to teach it. I said, well, first and foremost, all of us are licensed social studies teacher, which automatically makes us qualified to teach the class. Let's be clear. We are all qualified to teach anything that falls under the umbrella of social studies. That is what the job is. If you are certified in math, the idea, now you might be better at algebra than you are at calculus, but let's be clear. They can give you a calculus book and say, be ready to teach it next school year. And you just got to figure the shit out because that you are certified to teach it. Right? So that's number one. Number two, I said, what do you mean none of us are qualified to teach it? What are you talking about? He said, well, I would like the person who's going to teach Latino studies to have at least XYZ amount of credit hours in that field. What he really wanted to say was, I want a Latino person to teach it, and we don't have one on staff in this department. That's what he wanted to say. But instead of him saying that, he came up with all these other bullshit. And I said, that is some white privilege shit. I said it just like that because we talk like that in our meetings. Oh, you would think I called his ass fucking Hitler, okay? He was like, oh my God. I said, no, listen. I said, you don't have any problem throwing an African-American studies book at any teacher that walks in this door. You don't ask them how many classes they've taken in African-American studies. You don't ask them what they know about African-American studies. Any teacher, and usually it's the teacher that just the teacher that just got hired and probably just graduated from college and is their first year teaching. You treat African-American studies as a side note and a damn near PE class. We're just gonna give it to anybody. Okay. So for you to sit here and say that we're going to treat Latino studies better than we treat African-American studies, that's some racist ass microaggression shit. And he couldn't see it that way. He didn't understand because in his mind, because what he wanted to say was, we don't have a Latino teacher to teach it. And I think this class should be taught by someone of Latino heritage. That's what he wanted to say. He just didn't say it. But you treat African-American studies like it's an afterthought. And so I say all that to say that was a long way around it. But this is a guy who thought he was woke. He thought he understood it. He teaches about racism. He teaches about Black history. He teaches about all of these things. So he couldn't possibly be doing anything racist. And in his mind, he wasn't. And it wasn't until we had to break that shit down for him that he was like, and he was still not happy about it. He ain't like it and he wasn't happy about it. But in his mind, he wasn't doing anything that was wrong. He really wasn't. And so I disagree. I hear what you're saying, Diamond, but to say by now, by 2021, all white people know that when they're doing something racist, it's racist. They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. Now, obviously, there's some blatant shit that, yeah, you can't go around calling people out their name and you can't. We know there's some blatant shit, but I'm not talking about the obvious stuff. I'm talking about the microaggressions. They don't get it. What Kyle did to Garcelle was a microaggression. She didn't get it. Now, she knew that what she was doing was some shady shit. Mm-hmm. But she never would have made the connection to the stereotype that Black people don't pay their bills and Black people don't tip. She never would have paid it because that's not her reality. She don't have to think about that. She don't have to think about that. The example that Garcelle used, I have had that same situation happen to me myself. You go somewhere to eat, you don't get great service, but you know in the back of your mind, they automatically expect that you're not going to be able to tip or that you couldn't afford the bill to begin with, especially when it's an expensive restaurant or a high-end situation. They automatically assume that you ain't supposed to be there anyway. So now it's, okay, I didn't get great service. Do I eat it? And just be like, well, I don't want them talking about me after I leave on top of and add and perpetuate the stereotype? Or do I, not tip because they don't deserve a tip and just deal with, like, when I say we've all, I think most Black people have had to have that conversation in their mind. And so that is why I say we should, and again, I'm not saying just us, but like Crystal was willing to have the conversation. Crystal wanted to have the conversation. I think we've got to stop shying away from conversations of race and stop assuming, because us assuming that they knew what they're doing is racist is just as bad. It's just as bad. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up because I went on left field. I'm gonna shut up.
Well, I'm gonna share one right quick. So, like I said, in the military, everybody know that my faith is Judaism. So most people would never look at me as African American. I know, funniest thing in the entire world. So one of my soldiers wanted to, so pretty much because in his mind I identify as Jewish. Obviously, I denounced the fact that all of this right here is on Front Street. So he was like, so he wanted to have a conversation of, Black Lives Matter being the modern day, Black Panther Party. And I could have easily not had the conversation or whatever. And I could have really just hammered her. I went a different route. I'm just like, does anyone you know, or have you ever, benefited from reduced lunches or free lunches? He was like, yeah. Does anybody have you ever benefited from WIC, which I know he has because he has a plethora of children. He was like, yeah. I'm like, you do realize those are two programs that came from the Black Panther Party and what they did. And his whole face broke because what he knew of the Black Panther Party came from media. That was all wrong. And like I said, do I feel he was a racist? No. But was he ignorant on the matter? Very much so. And in that moment, I had a chance to sit here and reach to it. And I said, the best thing you can do is everything you don't know, like what I just taught you today. One, go research, because I don't want you to say Sergeant Thomas told you this. Go research, but also everything that I'm telling you, obviously you didn't learn in school. So do your children a service and teach this to your children, because they're probably not going to learn it either, because most African Americans don't learn this till they get to college. And it's real messed up that a lot of our history is held at that degree, where it's something that we probably should learn before. But that was a teachable moment that I had with one of my soldiers. Yeah. So sometimes you just have to have the dialogue and also be cognizant enough to know, like, or think of how you're going to approach the conversation. Because most people would have flipped out with that question, like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, no, I'm going to go about it a different way. And this was literally off the cuff, just like, let me try to help you understand, and had him to understand, like, what they told you the Black Panthers were is not what they were. This is what it was. These are services, and some of what they implemented is what is still in place today. You just don't know the origins of it, like many inventions and all of that other stuff.
Right, exactly. Diamond, I think you're missing my point, but it's okay. It's okay. I think you're missing the point of what I'm saying, though. It wasn't about him wanting a Hispanic person to teach it. That's not kind of really the point I'm making. And you say, like, we do research, they can too. But what I'm saying is we as Black people can be just as offensive sometimes to other cultures, just as other cultures are to us, if we don't know and we don't have the conversation and have the dialogue. But it is what it is. I love you, boo. And it's okay. We ain't got to agree with everything. That's okay. Little baby, anything you want to add? Because we're going to wrap it up. We've been here for 2 hours. I appreciate everybody's time and the conversation.
I mean, I just want to talk about the fashion. Because the girls were serving.
All right, what about the fashions, honey? The fashions.
So, head mistress herself, Dorit Kemsley. Okay. Her confessional look, the corset that she has, it is a Vivienne Westwood original. And it is in the museum. Let me find the museum. The Victoria and Albert Museum in London. I don't know how she pulled the string to get that out to wear in a confessional, but she did.
Listen, I mean, Dorit and her husband might be homeless next week, but it's all good, honey, because I'll be here for Dorit and her fashions. I'm sorry, because this is what I can love about. This is what I love about Dorit and Erica. They give you looks. They don't just put on a cute outfit. Bitch, they give you looks from head to toe. Erica has storyboard for her outfits, okay? From her hair to her makeup to her jewelry to her shoes. It is a storyboard.
Listen, the red patent leather number in the credit. Bitch, hand it over. Hand it over. Hand it over.
Listen. Cameron Knight said it ain't hard to get a vintage Vivienne Westwood corset. Well, it was in the museum. It's got to be hard to get it out the museum, don't it?
Yeah. It had some kind of pull had to happen.
Somebody had to know somebody that knew somebody that did something, child. Yes, listen, Dorit is gonna give it to you. Dorit is gonna give it to you.
And last night, Garcelle, that blue hair, periwinkle hair,
Listen, that confessional look was Every
Oh my
week.
God.
I want that wig, bitch. I want that wig. Listen, I don't even be wearing wigs like that, but I'll wear that one. I will wear that one.
Fantastic. Oh my God.
And the way they had it paired up and the makeup, she looked, oh my God. She looked gorgeous. She looked gorgeous. Now, at what point in the season do we start seeing Erica looking rough? Because we saw the trailer. Erica was looking bad.
Rough. Oh my God. The contour was not blended.
When does that start happening? When did she have to fire the glam squad?
Listen, I think we're approaching it because that confessional look, the Vivian Westwood course that I mentioned, Dorit posted that in November. And remember, Erica filed for divorce in like November, December.
Okay. Well, I know why they were filming that the shit hit the fan, because remember the question was, is she gonna bring all of this to the show? So I know during filming is when it all hit the fan, child. Kyle's look with the updo in the confessional. Okay. Kyle usually does okay. She had her moments. Kyle be looking very Kmart sometimes.
I just want to hit Kyle with a skillet in the nose. Cast iron skillet.
We are not hitting Kyle in the nose. We're not.
Okay. Well, then I'll slap her with a raccoon then. Okay, I'll do that.
Oh, she made more than one. Okay, I thought it was the one from the museum. Okay, I got y'all. Okay, I got y'all. Yeah, Kyle. Listen, I was hurt for Kyle when her handbag collection got stolen. I was hurt for her because Kyle did have a hell of a handbag collection.
Some of those items were vintage and one of a kind pieces.
Let me tell you why I don't feel bad. Let me tell you why I don't feel bad. Because how the fuck she get killed. That's why I don't feel bad. I said it.
Well, what'd she do to Kim?
She ain't never been nice to Kim, especially season 1. I don't like Kyle. I don't like her. That's how you're saying that. You got to get it all up in the erotic place. Kyle, you got to be all up in there,
honey. So the first 2 episodes I was here for. Y'all know I love Beverly Hills because I am here for Beverly Hills because of the fashions, honey. I'm here for Beverly Hills because they rent 17 bedroom mansions on fucking Lake Tahoe. Okay, I am here for Beverly Hills because even though we are in the middle of COVID, I saw the trips that Atlanta took during COVID. I saw the trips that the Real Housewives of Dallas took during COVID. I saw the trips that the Real Housewives of New Jersey took in COVID. And ain't none of them fly no private jet for an hour. The whole cast, because Atlanta had 2 people. The whole cast fly a private jet for an hour and stay in a 17 bedroom fucking mansion on Lake Tahoe. Let's be clear. This is already the most fabulous trip of COVID out of all of the housewives that I watch.
And I just want to say for those that watch New York, because I got caught up, the majority of their trips have been to the Berkshires and to the Hamptons.
Okay. I don't watch New York, but okay.
But they got New York money though.
Okay. Oh no, I know that. I know the New York cast got money too. I know that. Yeah.
Some of them.
Oh. Well, thank you so much, Lil Baby, as always. Thank you so much, Yocrates. If you guys are not subscribed to y'all's channel, please make sure that you are subscribed to his channel. What are you reviewing these days, y'all?
Right now, I'm really not doing it.
You're kind of taking a hiatus.
Well, mostly because it's a lot of work that I'm trying to do in this apartment of mine,
Okay.
So that's taking a lot of my time. Like next week, I actually have people coming to remove some stuff that was left up here before I came here. So I'm having to sit here and do a whole lot of moving and all this other stuff. I'm still here, but just getting stuff done. So
right.
Have this. So I'll still be doing this. I just won't be doing my own reviews, maybe for about another 2 or 3 weeks, maybe.
Okay, all right. Well, in the meantime, go on ahead, just go on and give him a click and subscribe just until he get his stuff. But I'm not sure if we'll be here next Thursday, but I will definitely extend the invitation for us to talk about Beverly Hills. It looks like next week is going to be a doozy. We got part 2 of this conversation because remember they put the good to be continued, and then it looks like Sutton is starting some bullshit with Crystal. And listen, I was here for Crystal telling her to stop being dramatic. I was here for it. So we will see how that goes down tonight. You guys will get Legendary. I'm about to watch that. Literally watch it right now. I don't know what y'all gonna get after that, but y'all and you're maybe Chasing LA tonight. But you would definitely get Legendary. I'm literally about to watch it. Like as soon as I click off, I'm turning it on. So and I guess I'll get a little Chasing LA. I'll see if I feel like if I'm up for that one tonight. But again, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I love all of y'all, the conversations. I love the input. I love the back and forth, the dialogue. I love the questions because y'all kept us, because, you know, that New Jersey child. Thank y'all for the questions because y'all kind of kept us on track. And with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
Bye, guys.